Welcome back to RAYGO Chess. We are on the road to 1000 ELO. We're currently sat at 906 ELO. We did lose our last game, but if you're new here, quick introduction. Look, I'm not the best at chess. I've been playing for about a year and a half. I am really trying my best to get to 1000 ELO. It's not as easy as it looks. The odds are you're probably not going to learn much here, but what you are going to see is chess played by someone who isn't a grandmaster, nowhere near, just a normal lad just trying to get to 1000 ELO. This is what it looks like, and we're going to be making mistakes. You're probably not learn anything, but you might learn a couple things. And hopefully you can leave a few comments and help me improve if you see me go wrong. But with that being said, we're going to get into a 30-minute rapid because that's what we've been playing to try and get to the 1000 ELO, because 10 minutes isn't enough time for me to think I'm just not good enough. So let's get into this. Let's try and get this win today. I really need this win. So we're playing as blacks against an 860 ELO. Okay, I don't know a lot about openings. I know bits and bobs. I've been trying to learn the Italian with the white opening and this Sicilian Khan, I think it's called. It's a variation of the Sicilian opening. And I don't know either of them inside out. I know the basics. You know what I mean? So basics are... you push the C7 pawn 2 forwards, the E7 pawn 1 forward, and then the A7 pawn 1 forward as well, with the idea of bringing the queen out, hopefully hopping the knight to this square with the backing of this pawn. Hopefully he castles and gets some cheeky little win. That's the idea. But if it isn't going the way we want it to go, we're gonna. My philosophy is pull out of the opening and basically just stick to the principles and try and win. So that's the plan today. Let's just stick to it. Try not to think too much. If he goes there, we've always got the queen, but obviously we're not going to do that because of his bishop. So that isn't an option. Another idea, if you're new here, you haven't heard me say this. Sorry for repeating the same things if you've seen me say this before. Okay, so we have been caught out by this twice. That right there is... in line for, I think, is it an en passant or something like that. So with that being said, we're just going to attack this pawn instantly and get rid of it, because it's been a pain in 2 of my last games that I've played this opening. So let's just get rid of that threat. Not only that, but it's in our half. I watched a guy called, what's his name? Something, Akeem. And, yeah, long story short, he has a principle that whenever anything is in your half of the chessboard, your primary goal should be to eliminate it. So I try and take that on board. So I could take with the queen, but that isn't part of the plan, is it? We want to get the queen on this diagonal. However, part of the plan is getting the knight to the square. So we do need to go on that square anyway. Obviously, the queen backs it. So let's take with the knight. I'm not seeing any reason why not to. He could hop in here, but if he does do that, he's not really developing. You know what I mean? He's just moving pieces. At that point, we can always push forward and put some pressure on it, because, again, we are looking to push this pawn up the board. It's absolutely roasting. Okay, so he's moving backwards. Again, I don't know a great deal about chess, but what I do know is moving the same piece twice in the opening isn't a principle of chess that you want to really adapt. If you can avoid doing it and just try and develop your pieces. But at the same time, again, in the same way that I pull out of an opening if it's not going my way, you know, sometimes I will bring a piece back or make a different move. So what do we want to do now? So if he moves the bishop, he's one move away from castling. So what I want to do is continue with our opening. And what I was saying before as well, before he pushed that white pawn forward here, there is an idea with the Sicilian Khan, and it's not something that you have to do every time you do the opening. It's just an idea, and that idea is basically just not to castle at all and just build a nice little shelter in the middle of the board for your king. Obviously, we've created an opening on this file now, so I don't really want to do that, but we are considering pushing this pawn forward, aren't we? So with that being said, I don't really want to castle that way. Okay, so he could hop in. Obviously, it's not an instant threat because we've got the queen there. So now what I'm thinking, he's moved that piece again. Why don't we just put some pressure on it? Two things are going to happen. We're going to put pressure on this knight. Not only that, we're going to sort of free this bishop. So I like the idea of that. Let's just make him move it again. This whole time we're developing. We are developing. But I'm not going to get cocky because there's nothing for you. Got to keep our head in the game. So what are you going to do, mister? Oh, that would have been a mouse slip. I've also turned this setting on that I can't actually do a mouse slip. So now it would be easy to push here, threaten the knight, but then what he can then do is just jump back in there, and then we can't put any pressure on. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave him there for now. I could come up with the idea of just hitting that, and then if he takes, I can then follow up with the queen. It's just one way of, like, you know, damaging that structure. I also then have the option of castling. So that's an idea for now. D6 with the idea of hitting that, also freeing up the ability to castle king's side. But then I probably wouldn't want to follow through with the idea of pushing that pawn at that. Yeah, because then obviously our knight will be on, our rook will be on this side. So that game plan will sort of change. But at this point, I'm sort of going, okay, let it sort of change. The idea is we want to get this knight out as well because it will help control the middle, which I'm probably going to do first, because if he pushes this bishop forward, I can then take it with the knight, and then the pawn's back in the knight. Let's do that first. Develop the piece. Stop the pawn pushing forwards. Knight on the rim, grim. You're blocking your own bishop in. Okay. So now the odds are he's not going to want to castle that way. So what, you push? Let me just ignore that for a second and put this threat on. Because if you push, what you're doing, you're threatening that. And what? I can just take you. Then what, you hop in. And then what, I just come up and you're trying too much with your knight. So I'm going to ignore that for a second. Continue with what I'm doing. Again, applying pressure here. Ruining the idea of castling for him. He could come and offer a trade. No, why would he do that? Because nothing's back in it. See how he hasn't got one piece developed? Well, he's got one piece, but it's a knight on the rim. We've got 4 pieces developed. We can bring the 5th into it. Probably get a castle in. I'm liking our opening right now. I'm not going to lie. He's just moved that piece again. Okay, I'm thinking, let's just hit this pawn. Hopefully he just goes for it. We can take his rook out the game. What are you going to do? Oh, you blocked that in. Pretty nice move. Pretty nice move. Didn't see it. I could push. Put him in check. He could jump. He could block. That was a nice move. I'll give you that, Potter. So now, how do we want to lose the bishop? We may as well take this and let him take our bishop. And then this whole area is exposed. Hang on a minute. Take, queen, check. How'd you get out of that? How do you get out of that? You'd have to drop. Or you could go there. But if you go there, then I can just hit the blue square. Something like that. Either way, we're going to have to do that. So let's just save a few brain cells. Okay. So take, check. You could push down, and then is there a way of... Hang on a minute. If I push up, check, you could either push down or whatever, so I don't really want to do that. I could push up with the idea... Oh no, because of this bishop. We need to get our pieces in the game. Maybe we just get a castle in. And then get the rook on this file. Let's just do that. Let's bide our time. Let's get our pieces in. We've lost the bishop. It hurts. Let's not panic too much. Panic at the disco. Hop. Push with the rook. Check. You come down. Come down. Okay. What did that do? You want to protect your king? Is that what you're saying? But now if I hop in here and I push the rook up and you haven't moved your king, which you probably will do by that point, there's always the possibility. Hop in as well. Oh no, yeah, because if he moves up, because he can't go there because of my queen. So if he moves up, I can hop the knight in, putting him in check, and also putting pressure on his rook, which obviously allows me to take the rook. Second option, if he doesn't move it, hey, go lasso, go lasso, go low lasso. He wants to play me again, but I'm gonna have to happily decline. Right, because what I was thinking, right, quickly, was let's just do the game review quick. Let's put on the big chess view so you guys can see what's going on here.
Nice win. Let's review it together.
God damn! Man played 87.9% accuracy with the ELO of 1600. Even though I lost the bishop. That's crazy. Let's start the review because I want to show you what I was thinking at the end.
This is the most popular starting move in chess. Players win more games with the Sicilian defense than any other option in that position.
No way.
D3 defends the e4 pawn and allows the dark squared bishop to develop. But keep nice, taking time to prepare before pushing in the middle. They bring out their knight, increasing their control over the center.
His mistake was moving that knight around too much. Watch what he does with that knight. 1, 2.
Very good choice. That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. This is an ambitious pawn move that activates your position.
I wasn't falling for that again.
This is a fair trade. You use the recapture to develop another piece. Decent move, but they had a better one.
2.
Careful. Your queen becomes a target when entering play too soon. They had a better way to centralize a
3.
knight so it controls more squares. You kick the opposing knight with a pawn. They had a better way to move a knight to safety. You're bringing your knight into play. They played one of the good job developing. Their knight is now in a stronger position, controlling key areas of the board.
Right. Again, I am no master, not claiming it. Far from it. Like I said, just a lad trying his best. Learning along the way. You're going to see me make mistakes. You're going to see me do some good stuff, hopefully. I can tell you this. Moving the same piece 5 times in the opening, and your ELO is 853. How have you got to that ELO? And you're playing like that? That's crazy to me.
This move is okay, but not what I would have played.
This, however, what he does now,
Precise
that
move from
is
your
an
opponent.
absolute brilliant move, that. Brilliant move. And that's one that everyone here should always remember. Especially, like, you will remember this when someone does it to you. Whenever anybody brings their
This move is
bishop
okay,
in like
but
that,
not what I
and
would have
you've got the pawn in front of it, all you have to do is drop
Precise
it,
move from your opponent.
and all of a sudden you've got a piece. That is it. It's as simple as that. What his mistake was, or I suppose that's another sort of key thing as well that I've learned along the way. It really hurts that I'm about to lose this bishop, yeah, for no reason whatsoever, other than raw stupidity and greed. Totally bypassing that move. However, if you are going to lose a piece, think about it. What's the best way to lose it? Sort of look at it at, I'm not losing a piece, I'm sacrificing a piece. and try and change your mentality, which I found hard to do then, but I was trying to do it, but it hurts, you know what I mean? Anyway, with that being said, I could have like maybe done something which I considered like bringing the queen in here and checking the king. But what's that check really going to do? Like I say, he could just drop his bishop, drop that bishop, throw the knight in. All of a sudden, the check doesn't count for nothing, and that's the end of the attack. And then he just takes with his rook. We've gained nothing. However, we took that
There
way.
was one good move, and you took your time finding it. You exchanged pieces of equal value.
I mean, I didn't know it was a great move. I'm not going to lie. But we'll take it. Obviously, because when that come in next, which
This is a fair trade.
his greed, he couldn't not take it. He had to get rid of my bishop, and then bang!
You are forcing your opponent to lose castling rights.
All of a sudden, look at the state of this for him. And again, I'm no expert. I'm just stating the obvious. Look at the state of that, and his king's in the open. We've got 2 knights coming in. We're about to castle. We're about to get a rook involved. Potentially just push up this bishop and get the bishop involved. And all of these pieces are about to make the way to this opening. And I get a move, he gets a move. I get a move, he gets a move. What's he really going to do? Throw in a knight? This knight's got ages. You know what I mean? There's not really much for him to do because he wasted 5 moves in the opening. One thing I've had to tell myself is a move is massive. A move, making the move early or making the move too late is the difference between allowing your opponent into the game. It's you could lose your momentum if you take that one move too late. You know what I mean? And by the way, I still make these mistakes all the time. I'm just, telling you my thought process.
Their king steps away from the check by your queen.
Let's find out.
Your rook eyes the open file, which helps control critical square.
So
Their king
again,
steps away from the check by your queen.
Again, I know that I wanted to just do something, get the check involved, but all he's got to do is push back. The queen isn't strong enough to complete, to take on these 3 pieces and checkmate this king, simply because that queen doesn't even need these pieces. She can do it on her own by just simply just getting in the way. So with that being said, you're going to have to utilize the next few moves. Let's get
the rook has the
castle
open
in.
file, which helps control critical squares.
Now this rook is involved straight away. Now we've got opportunities. And just in 2 moves...
You are threatening to win a queen by pinning a piece to the king.
Just in 2 moves, look at that position. And all he could do in his 2 moves...
Your rook eyes the open file, which helps control critical squares.
Was that.
With the queen out so early,
Bang.
you are threatening to win a queen by pinning a piece to the king.
My thought process at this point was going to be hop in. Because what can he do with his king? Well, he can't go here because of the pressure of my queen. So that's checked. So he's not allowed to move there. If he moves here to D1, then I throw my knight in on a F2. I'm still learning the names of the squares as well because it's hard work. And at that point, if his king was on D1, that would have been a fork. Now, he couldn't take with his queen because I would have took his queen. I could have also took it with the knight, with the rook that we pre-moved on purpose to get more attackers involved. And again, it's all up here, isn't it? It's all happening up here. Because there's only so much you can do with one move. And what you need to get in your head, like what I'm trying to get in my head is, mate, you've got time. you've got time to get the castle in and get the rook involved, because he, after you make your castle, can only do one move. It's not like he can move loads of pieces and totally stop this attack from coming in. He's only got one move before it's your go again. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I hope I'm getting that message across, Claire. So don't just try and close the show with one piece is the moral of the story. Utilize your moves and think, what can he really do with his one big move after mine? What, drop your queen? Fine, do it. And now look, we're good. The other thing that I was considering is, okay, so that was it if he moved there. And then he couldn't move there because obviously we got, these two. And then the other option was you just move a piece, and then I would have took it. I could have took it with the rook. Another option would have been totally ignore everything and just try and get a piece involved. Try and do something. You know what I mean? Like, that probably would have been what I would have done if I was him. Probably just drop the bishop, but even then you can't do that because I just took it with the queen. But no, I couldn't have because of his rook. So yeah, that would have been a nice move. Another move would have been drop the rook. I couldn't have took it. You know what I mean? It could have made me do something. But he just chose not to do anything. Obviously, I would have counterplayed that. I could have just dropped, and then I'm putting pressure on his king again. The game could have went on a little bit. But what I would have liked to have done if he dropped that in was just basically push the rook up, pinning his queen to the king, and then took his queen. Moral of the story, he's seen what the rook was cooking. He didn't like what was going on in the kitchen, and we made him resign. And that's another game. And that felt good. And that was a good representation of the Sicilian Khan. Anyway, we're on 9:13 ELO now. And we're doing one game a day, one episode a day, trying to get to 1,000 ELO. So if you've enjoyed this video, hopefully you've learned a little something. Again, I'm not really here to teach. I'm just here to play and try and get to 1,000 ELO. But if I can tell you a couple of my ideas of why I do things, I'll try. But that's about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like the video, subscribe if you're new. To everyone who's subscribed already and watches, thank you, appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow.